Geshe Sonam. In 1995, he joined Sera Monastic University to devote his life for intensive study and practice of Buddhism. He has been formally ordained by Khyentse Dakpa Rinpoche and received the highest monastic ordination of Bhikshu from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Presently, he is working as a translator and a Buddhist scholar. His first book is In the Footsteps of Siddhartha, was published in 2010.
Most welcome, Geshe Gawang Sonam ji. You are a part of the family. You are elder to our family. Again, to have is a great pleasure. Your whole stage is all yours. Abundance mindset and spiritual fulfillment. Finding wealth in inner peace. Over to you.
Thank you. So, my topic is abundance mindset and spiritual fulfillment, finding wealth in inner peace. So, first of all, I would like to thank United Consciousness International for having me here. It's a pleasure always to speak on topics related to world peace, inner peace. And I'm very happy to talk about this topic because no matter whatever philosophy you may follow, whatever religious philosophy, political philosophy you may follow, after all, we are all individuals who want happiness, peace in life. We may see so many changes around the world, nations waging war against one another, but at the core of all these individuals involved in warfare, in exchange, whatever we do in life, be it good or bad, we always have in our mind an aspiration to be happy. However, the means for happiness may the means for one's happiness depends on the mindset that one has, the kind of philosophy one has, one believes in, or one follows, and the kind of daily activities pertinent with that philosophy for the fulfillment of that philosophy, or for the fulfillment of one's aspiration. The deeds that we follow, these are very important. So, given that we all want happiness, and happiness does not come from having fights or disputes or war or conflicts. None of these are sources of happiness. Happiness basically within every individual comes from within. If your mind is happy, even if physically you are not really healthy, you'll be happy. With mental happiness, physical happiness naturally follow because our mind and body are dependent on one another. So now, as a Buddhist practitioner, there are so many methods for inner happiness. But here, because we are talking on a global stage, so I would like to point out some philosophies that we have which can be believed universally. So now, before I speak about these philosophies, we have to accept that we all want happiness and peace. No question about that. That's natural, that's inherent. So now, given that reality, now to fulfill one's inner happiness, inner peace is important. If you are mentally agitated, there is no inner happiness. If you're mentally calm, then mental happiness follow naturally. So now mental peace depends on so many factors. External factors are there. But more than external factors, internal factor is more important for mental peace. For example, around the world, there is a constant rush for materialism. Economy is at the forefront of the agendas of So nations, politicians, and business people everywhere. It's okay to have economy without material facilities. Of course, it's very clear that we cannot survive. But at the same time, there is what we call there's a difference between our need and our desire. If we follow our desire, then nothing is enough. If we look at our need, then yes, our needs are limited. And because of that, if we know that our needs are limited and desire limitless, and then we will just follow the need, because following our desire, in the process following our desire, we, instead of becoming happier and more peaceful, will become very agitated, and we'll lose our peace of mind. And the very objective that we have been chasing, peace of mind, happiness, in pursuit of that, we might actually lose our own happiness. So the method we follow to generate inner happiness should not become the tool to create more disturbances within. So that's very important. Another thing is to follow our inner peace. What kind of philosophy is important? What kind of practice, religious practice or mantra, whatever is important. People try to do that. One thing that I think is very important, universally applicable, is the concept of interdependence. Pratita samudipata. That's an Indian concept. In Buddhism, we use this concept to understand and the emptiness of self. Self exists, but no concrete independent self exists. Self is dependent on the combination of mind and body. Mind also dependent on other factors. Body also dependent on its parts. So there is nothing called partless or concrete on its own. This view helped in reducing of intensive clinging to oneself. And when one understands interdependence with respect to oneself, then we also understand interdependence in connection with our external worlds, people who are not us, other people, interconnected. We also understand the inner connection between nations, between individuals, between societies, between family members, between everything that exists. So the law of interdependence is common. It's something we can all observe. It's not something we have to impose based on a belief system. No, that's very clear. Everything is dependent. Now the world global stage, on a global stage, if we look, the world is highly dependent economically, politically, climatically, geographically, educationally, from every respect. The world is no more independent of one another, highly interconnected. Whatever happens on the other side of the globe will impact this side and vice versa. Because of this law of interdependence, now we cannot remain indifferent to things happening on other side of the globe, because eventually you'll be affected. So because of that, the well-being of others is one's own well-being, and one's well-being also depends on others too. So the concept of interdependence allows us for reconsideration of our differences, and sorting differences through talks. Okay, that's very important. So in this way, if interdependence is at the heart of our philosophy, based on that interdependence, when we have differences, we come to talk like humans. Okay, we are humans, not like animals. When animals have differences, the only thing that they can do is fight with one another. But we are humans, so we can talk with one another. What do you need? What I need? And so, based on that, based on fairness, and based on mutual appreciation, respect for one another's needs, then accordingly, we talk with one another. And so there is, because the human mind is marvelous, we can reach the moon. We can reach beyond this world. We can create so many sophisticated weapons to destroy another. If we have that kind of mental capability, then we definitely have the mental intelligence to sort our differences by having mutual consideration and respect. So that's something that I feel is very important for the peace for oneself as well as for the world at large. Then the concept of impermanence. We tend to think I'm going to be here for I've been here for the last 40, 50 years, and I'll be here for how long? So we tend to think we are going to be here on this earth forever. No, our life might end anytime. And then because everything is impermanent, because they are dependent on causes and condition, there are multiple causes and condition. So because of that, nothing is going to remain stagnant forever. If we have the concept of impermanent, particularly to oneself, one's community, everything, then we appreciate what we have, because eventually we are going to lose everything. So while we are here shortly on this globe, thinking of impermanence, we should live our life in such a way that it's useful for oneself, it's useful for others, and it's never used to destroy one another. So impermanence is actually at the heart of one's own. The concept of impermanence is the heart of one's own inner peace. We want come to terms with this fact. That's a fact. It's impermanent, so you cannot do anything about it. But you can live this philosophy to be more compassionate to your family members, to your community members, and to your people in your own nation, and then to the international community, and also to the other inhabitants of this earth, other sentient beings. So inner peace begins with oneself, then it's spread from one to one's own family, to society, to nation, to international community. So then we tend to think our happiness comes from outside. Yes, partially, yes, but not entirely, because when we have enough to sustain us physically, um, food, enough roof overhead, whether that now whether we are happy or not depends on our state of mind. If we think this is not enough, we'll never be happy. If you think, yes, for my survival this is enough, and when you have uh, what we call mm, being satisfied with what one has, then that actually really helps in retaining one's own peace of mind. Because if you uh, chase your desire, it always changes. It always changes. Nothing is enough. For example, nowadays everybody's buying iPhones and new phones, and companies use our desire to sell their products and so forth. So constant chasing. So what we need is happiness, peace of mind, and external material facilities to some extent, yeah, can fulfill. But real peace comes from managing your mind. So that is associated with knowing your mind. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is my main teacher or guru, says we should first know the map of mind and then distinguish the negative emotions from the positive emotions, and then also neutral emotions. So we need to promote our positive emotions and reduce our negative emotions. If we are able to do that, that's what we call in Buddhism or Hinduism the practice of mind training. Uh, and recognizing the mental contaminants and then reducing them, and promoting the conditions that bring forth peace of mind. So because mental experience is within, you have to train your mind. Training of your mind does not involve um, sacrificing or giving up something that is very there is no risk in doing the training of mind, because training of mind is about addressing reality, and then first recognizing reality, and then based on that reality, then how to move forward daily activities based on that given reality. So I think for real inner peace, okay, if we have the concept of interdependence, impermanence, and then also the concept of rebirth in Buddhism and Hinduism, I think it's really wonderful in a way, because then our life is not just limited to this life. We had lives in the past, we'll have life in the future. So not only we are dependent on one another in this life, we have been one another's mother and father multiple times in the past, and will be mother and father and children multiple times in the future. And so because of that, if we look at our other sentient beings in the light of having been our mothers, our brothers and sisters, and there's an affinity established between oneself and another. And another thing is, if you look at them as sentient beings who want happiness and peace as much as we want, and that becomes your philosophy in your daily life, then you'll respect the needs of others. You'll never think of yourself first, put yourself ahead of others' needs. You will always consider the needs of others, while of course fulfilling your needs too. So if we have that kind of philosophy, where uh, no, if you have that kind of tradition where we remain grateful for the uh, mm, to the existence of others in one's life, and also to the fact that we have been dependent on one another, and their happiness, their freedom is as important as one's happiness and one's and freedom. And so we are equal, and we have equal right, equal aspiration. And now, because we have to live together on this globe, and we have to live harmoniously. Destroying one another has no benefit at all. You kill 1,000 people on this side, on that side. You destroy houses here and there. What do you get from that? Complete waste. Let's not talk about reincarnation, karma, but complete waste. Nobody wins in a war at all. Maybe one may do more damage on the other side, but damaging other side, things on the other side will not bring prosperity to one's nation. No. So because of that, I think it's very important to recognize one another's need, have the concept of interdependence, as well as the concept of impermanence, that you're going to end. Eventually, everyone leaves this world, okay? So what are kind of world we want to pass on to our new generations? They also want to be happy. Our children also want to be happy. So given this reality, okay, we may resort to many religious philosophy. That's one's individual choice. But then the concept of interdependence, samutipata, impermanence, and with these at the heart, if we practice compassion to one another, people we practice compassion on are not uh, inanimate entities. They are sentient. They can reciprocate affection. They can understand one's sincerity. So, in a spirit of friendship, frankness, transparency, if we approach one another, because we're humans, we can always sort out differences. So, this is all I want to say. And if there are questions, I'm ready. Hello.
Namaste,
Namaste.
Geshe-ji. Thank you, Sonam ji. Thank you very much for this insightful talk. You rightly mentioned that whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, but at least everybody wants to be happy in life, and that happiness comes through a proper mindset. And then you said that mindset, you brought us some practical tips to foster that happiness in ourselves. One is focus on need rather than greed, because greed is infinite. You
Yeah.
also mentioned about law of interdependence. You said that we cannot remain indifferent from others. Their well-being is also important because we are interdependent on each other. And that's why reconciliation of differences you suggested is important. Remembrance of impermanence, anitya, leads to inner peace, and remembering that we are too temporary to have permanent problems in life. You also said that be satisfied in what you have. Count your blessings in a way. As you quoted His Holiness, know your map of mind, what are positive thoughts, neutral thoughts, and negative thoughts, and then foster positive thoughts. That you use the word remove that mental contamination. I especially liked in these times of war when you said nobody ever wins the war. It is so profound, I think, that Even United Nations will be happy to echo it in different parts of the world. And indirectly, you also mentioned that victory is only who got less destroyed, because anyways, both parties gets destroyed.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure, I'm sure, Sonamji, that your words of wisdom will keep inspiring us in times to come. And I would like to extend from this global platform an invitation to you, if your calendar permits, do visit us on 14th, 15th, and 16th of February 2025. United Consciousness is organizing global summit, physical summit, on the same theme, International Day of Peace. So we are celebrating this whole year of peace, and the online program is a part of the main physical program also. So the online program is level first step. Second step is the physical program, which will be in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh, India, on 14th, 15th, and 16th of February. We'll be very happy to host you. If you plan to visit us, let us know once your calendar permits. Most welcome.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. We're
On
done.
behalf of United Consciousness, I thank
Geshe Sonam
for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.